Hello, this is Kevin Lausch. I'm here again with the Chalice Children's book reading. And for our theme in November, we've been following along with healing, but we're going to take a little bit of a break from that theme to read this book called Circle of Thanks. And this is for Thanksgiving. It's a wonderful book with beautiful watercolor illustrations written by Susie Gregg Fowler, illustrated by Peter Catalanotto. And it tells about little acts of kindness and being grateful, being thankful for the kindness from others, and how it sort of connects us all together. And those little acts of kindness might even come all the way back around to the beginning again. And that supports two of our principles for Unitarian Universalism. Our second principle, which is offering fair and kind treatment to all, and our seventh principle, valuing the connections in all of creation. So let's begin our book, Circle of Thanks. And this book is set on the tundra of Alaska. There is no color on the tundra in winter, no color and no sound except the howling of winds and wolves. Arctic fox wears his white winter coat. No one can see him. He blends so perfectly into the miles and miles of snow. But the boy and his mama see the tracks on the snowy path around their cabin. They smile. It's good to know they are not alone. Circle of Thanks. And you can see the Arctic fox's coat change from brown to white as the seasons go by in the Arctic Circle. Spring finally comes. Grasses poke through the wet snow and shiver in the cold air. The heavy rains turn white to brown. The ground is squishy and wet as the boy and his mama hurry to the river. Slup, slup, go the boy's boots as the wet tundra tries to suck them in. River Otter's pups are sure to be out of the den. Hers are the first youngsters every spring, and the boy's eager to greet the newcomers. Hello, pup. Oops, I'm sorry, and I skipped a picture. Hello, pup, he says to a small brown creature sliding along the riverbank. Where's your mother? Mother Otter is probably in her nearby den. She'll be back soon, Mama says. After all, otter pups don't know how to swim yet. Suddenly, there's a splash. Otter pup tumbles into the deep water and she cannot get out. Mama hesitates only a second. Then she strides into the icy river, grabs Otter pup like a wet kitten, and deposited her back on the bank. There now, you wait for your mother before you go swimming again, says Mama. Otter pup blinks, then turns and runs towards home. She doesn't say thank you, but Mama doesn't mind. What can you expect from an otter pup? In just a few weeks, the tundra changes completely. Color slips across the land. Green clumps of willows and berry bushes and bright patches of buttercups and marsh marigolds are everywhere. Swans, geese, and sandhill cranes nest in the wet grasses. Otter pup is a skilled swimmer now, and a good fisher, too. One day he climbs up the riverbank, dragging a grayling, which is a type of fish. Raven watches closely from behind some willow brush. For once he is silent. His wing is injured, and he doesn't want to let his enemies know where he is. Raven holds perfectly still, but he cannot hide from Otter pup. She spots him in his injured wing. Raven looks with longing at Otter pup's fish. Suddenly, Otter pup drops her fish. Raven hops forward and snatches it. never taking his eyes off Otterpup. He hides behind the willow again and gobbles up the fish before anyone can take it from him. He doesn't say thank you, but Otterpup doesn't mind. What can you expect from a raven? In time, Raven heals. He flies again over the tundra, snatching berries, stealing fish from other animals, and making noise wherever he goes. One morning, Raven sees something near a clump of dwarf birch and swoops down for a better look. It's a lost caribou, separated from her mother. Looks like wolves will get this one. Raven sits on a branch and watches the long-legged creature. Caribou calf stares back with giant, frightened eyes. Croak, croak, Raven squawks, then squawks again. Other ravens respond to his scratchy call. They hover above Caribou calf like a noisy black cloud. Mother Caribou notices the gathering ravens and comes pounding over the tundra. Together again, Caribou calf and her mother glance up at Raven circling above them. They don't say thank you, but Raven doesn't mind. What can you expect from caribou anyway? Mother Caribou and her calf rejoin the herd, heading towards the coast to escape the mosquitoes and flies. The sun never goes down this time of year. It is high summer, the time of light. Then change comes again. The sun sets for the first time in weeks. Autumn is not far off. Some of the waterfowl begin their migration south. The caribou, too, are on the move again. Mother Caribou hears a whimper. She heads toward the sound, leaving the herd. It's an Arctic fox caught in a trap. He is sad sight, scruffy and exhausted from trying to escape. His mottled fur is still changing from summer brown to white. When he sees Mother Caribou, Arctic fox is afraid. Caribou's big hooves and strong legs can make short work of him. Mother Caribou's hoof lands on the steel trap and springs it open. Then she silently moves on. Arctic fox is free. He moves away as quickly as his injured paw allows. He doesn't say thank you, but Mother Caribou doesn't mind. What can you expect from an Arctic fox? That looks like one surprised Arctic fox. Day after day, Arctic fox nurses his paw until it is healed. His coat is completely white. Winter is almost here. The boy's been watching the sky. Mama tells him the snow will come soon. If he wants enough berries to last until spring, he better go picking one final time. There aren't many berries left, and it takes a long time to fill both buckets. The boy's hands are cold, and he's glad to finish up and put his mittens back on. He better hurry home for supper. As the boy turns to go, his ankle twists under him. Ouch, he cries and tumbles down. His precious berries scatter. He crawls around, picking all he can. When he tries to stand, he collapses. He cannot walk. Mama, the boy calls, but Mama cannot hear him. He begins to crawl towards home. The light is disappearing quickly, and the bitter cold stings his cheeks. Soft as feathers, snow begins to fall. The boy takes a deep breath and crawls some more. He stops and takes off a mitten in order to eat a few berries. Then he gasps. He can just make out Arctic fox in the deepening twilight. Would an Arctic fox hurt a boy alone in the dark? Suddenly, Arctic fox darts forward and grabs his mitten. "Come back, thief!" cries the boy. But Arctic fox doesn't come back. Ooh, this is getting pretty serious. It's getting cold out. What do you think will happen to the boy? We'll see. At home, Mama wonders where the boy is. He knows better than to be late for supper. The darkness and the weather worry her. She'd better look for him. Mama steps outside. "His mitten!" "Where are you?" she calls, but no one is there. Then how did the mitten come back to home? Mama shines light in the darkness. Tracks in the fallen snow lead up to the mitten and disappear behind the woodpile. There are the tracks of an Arctic fox. Mama cannot see where the tracks begin. Perhaps as she follows him, she'll find her boy. The wind begins to blow and snow is falling faster. If Mama doesn't hurry, the snow will uncover the delicate prints. Mama never notices Arctic fox gliding like a shadow in the falling snow, but he trails behind her, silent and unseen. Not until Mama finds the boy and lifts her into his arms does Arctic fox disappear into the night. On the way home, Mama tells the boy about the appearance of his mitten and the tracks that led her to him. The boy remembers Arctic fox. "Thank you," he whispers into the night air. "Thank you." His words are carried on the wind. They float past Arctic fox as he hurries home. They circle around Mother Caribou, asleep with her calf. They sail over Raven, hunched on a bare willow branch. They slip into a den in the frozen river and whisper to Otter Pup. Almost the end. And they come back to where they began, back to the boy and back to his mama, back to the cabin all cozy and warm. The boy and his mama smile at each other. It's good to know they are not alone. The end. And that is Circle of Thanks. Just a simple little story that reminds us that we should have gratitude for little acts of kindness and that we should do acts of kindness to others. And it might affect someone who does a kindness for someone else, and it ripples wider and wider out. And maybe it might come back to us also. Let that be our message of gratitude this Thanksgiving. Thanks so much, and Reverend Bob will be here with the service at 10 o'clock. Have a good day.